Kia ora koutou. Welcome to the last lesson. I know, bad face. This lesson is about mapping the changes. We've kind of gone through a lot of this already, so let's have a recap of where we've come to. We understood the need for business agility, and we have a good understanding now on if it makes sense for our organization strategically. We have a really good understanding now of tools and processes and frameworks that could help us along that journey to agility by paving the way. You're aware that there is a big open space for different tools and processes that could be more suited to your organization. I urge you to look into all those different things. When we think about transformation, we've talked about how we can't do massive jumps in a complex world. We need to take small, iterative steps. We've come to a point where we go, right, this is our current state analysis. This is our business agility radar. These are our stakeholders. These are the type of teams and the psychology that we've got inside of our team, art, organizational structure. We've got an understanding now of the future state and where we're going. We know the future state is aligned to the business agility radar. We know we can use the search canvas to help us align ourselves. Through the search canvas, we go, why do we exist? Who do we serve? Where do we play? What problem do we solve? How do we win? In what way do we win? And when can we deliver through dynamic roadmaps? Dynamic roadmaps can be used via the Kanban board. Now, I do a lot of transformations using a Kanban board. It makes my life so much simpler. You don't have to use a Kanban board, but I'm going to quickly show you how you could use that using the business agility radar to come up with your bespoke business agility transformation plan. Because the board will want to know what your strategy is. And we talked about the 3 horizon model and how you could use this. Horizon 1, tools and process, get them out the way. Enable people to actually think for themselves and to have them try different things, continuously improving. Horizon 2, focusing on the customer, bring them into the equation, upgrading managers into leaders. If you are a leader, helping other leaders be brought up as well. Horizon 3, 3 years away, cultural transformation. Every step along the way should be measured. How do you measure? I've given you some KPIs, and you could integrate those to your own or just use the search KPIs. Everything is in this course that you need to set up that transformational strategy, to trial different tools and process, to create your own bespoke roadmap. So we're going to quickly look at some of the diagrams that are inside your lesson notes and how you could use them. Even if you haven't used the business agility radar, as long as you have a current state and a way of measuring or improvements with a future state vision, you don't need to use all of Surge's IP. It's there just in case you can't find something bespoke for your organization. Here's how you could draw your roadmap, your 3 horizon roadmap mixed in with your agility avenues. Horizon 1, 2, and 3. 3 is things that are quite far away and are most likely going to change. 1 are things you're going to hit right here, right now. If you are using the business agility radar, this becomes a lot simpler. Horizon 1 can be either just tools and process, or it could be rounding out the edges, depending on how quick you want to do this. By rounding out the edges, I mean all your limitations that you've got that are going to prohibit you from agility or moving forward as an organization. You want to remove those. So your objective is at each horizon, you're going to have an objective. If your objective is to improve all your reds into amber or all your ambers into orange, then write the objective in a way that I like to call goals plus smarts, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, timely, realistic, etc. If it's tools and process, you still want to measure it in a lofty, objective kind of way. Now, your outcomes, you want to stick those outcomes along the side of the road. These are things that, to help you achieve your transformation, to help you achieve that objective, what are the things you could trial? Now, some people are taking this course and are just following exactly the Surge way. And that is for us, Surge will say, here's your current state. Objective 1 will be to increase strategic agility to orange. And we'll take the wording out of the actual questions, and it becomes something that you can measure from a board level point of view. The 3 outcomes that you can then use, of course, are the 3 questions. And if one was red, one was amber, one was orange, you'd have 2 outcomes. And you stick them here, somewhere along here. You do this for Horizon 1, 2, and 3. Now you've got a backlog of all your outcomes. And you know that the first set of outcomes are a lot easier. Outputs. These are things you want to trial. Now you could use a story mapping session. You could use a brainstorming session. You could use PI planning. As long as you have the right stakeholders in the room and your champions and you're scaling your champions up efficiently, you can put all the outputs that you want to trial all the way along the road. And that becomes your roadmap of change. I like to use a prioritized Kanban board for this. The road looks great, and it's a great retro to have, or reflection to have. What I like to look at is Objective 1 is Horizon 1. There are up to 3 outcomes. I list them in order. I'm only going to work on one outcome at a time if I can help it. If I can help it. Sometimes they're interlinked. I'm going to do a story mapping session for the outputs. I'm going to come up with a whole bunch of outputs that probably will work. I'm going to use mostly the Surge Nirvana approach. I'm going to list all those outputs down there. I'm going to make it highly visible for everyone to see. Inside those outputs are specific and measurable items that I can trial to help me towards that outcome. So if your outcome was to move agile delivery from amber to orange, it's like, great. Look at the wording, find out exactly what part of that wording that you're missing, and then break down the outputs that will help you towards that. Does it require some sort of restructure of the way of working? Or is it simply as making things transparent? It's different for every organization. Create your work in progress limit. This is more to do with the rate of change that your teams, bands, and tribes can actually achieve. You don't want to change too much too quickly. It's gonna get very tiring, and people are gonna start responding in negative ways. You'll get more combatives than you will get champions. Measure, keep, or pivot. And as you see in your workbook, I've put keep or trash. I love the word trash, like trash it, get rid of it, completely undo it. Don't keep that change. And this is the power of Kaizen versus the power of like a Kanban board where things are implemented and then you're gonna need to create another card to undo it. No, you've trialed something, you're gonna trash it, lessons learned. I'm gonna keep it, it's kept me closer to my objective. And this is why I prefer Kaizen for transformations as opposed to Kaizen for program delivery. When we talk in terms of the outputs, make sure you recommend and you communicate to everybody that you can test these. You can say that's not going to be required or that's going to be a problem. That's dependent on that. Make it very transparent to everyone in the organization. This is our roadmap. Here's our big roadmap, our 3 horizon strategy. Put it out, big A0, print it off from the course. Here's our Kaizen board for Horizon 1 or Objective 1. Use language that makes sense for your organization. Don't make up some new terms. And if you can help it, keep within the same terminology that you use in other bands as well. When you're doing any of the outputs, it now becomes change management. Yeah, output seems very simple. Team A to Scrum. One little sticky. If you don't follow good change management principles, you won't get very far. So I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can possibly use change management to allow yourself to get further in this process. Kotter's 8 steps of change management come in very handy. Step 1, create urgency. You want to show a reason to change. What's the black swan event that's coming? Who's gonna swoop in and change things if you don't move fast? Are our customers gonna decline? Are our employees gonna leave? Create a powerful coalition. So your 2 champions, hopefully you've got them by now. You'll get your 2 champions onto it and then find out who you need to build into your coalition. Create the vision for change. We've gone through this. Powerful vision for the tribe, a powerful vision for your change. We want to increase customer value. We want to be more aligned to our customers. We want to increase employee engagement. Whichever words you choose, they're right for you. Just test them. Communicate the vision. Don't just create something, plonk it in a wall. Start, business agility coffees. Brown bag sessions where you talk about things at lunchtime. Really communicate it out there. We are doing this. This is what we're doing. Oh, we failed. Can we all learn from this, please? Don't do this, and this organization doesn't work. Communicate everything. When you start changing some outputs and ways of working or culture change or leadership items, start removing obstacles as soon as possible. If something, your output is in your Kaizen board and it's blocked for more than a week, drop everything else, remove that blocker, or remove the output, depending on the reason of the blocker. Create short-term wins. And this is why we set up the Horizon 1, 2, and 3 model, because as Kotter says, you want some wins early. And when you're doing the outputs, if one of your outputs is literally put Team A to Scrum, have some early wins inside the team. Make them feel special. Be happy. And if you're a team member watching this, make other people in your team feel happy. Build on the change. Scale what works, throw away what doesn't work. And then anchor the changes in culture. And that's kind of key. How do you anchor things in culture? You want it to be known as this is what's done here. We are an agile organization. Here's our values. Here's our social contract, Mike. This is the process we use. It's well documented. What about new people who come into the organization? What does the onboarding process look like? How do you ensure that they are wrapped up into that culture? Here at Surge, we also have our own system of change called Coach the Change. It's a little bit simpler, but very similar to Kotter's. You start wherever it makes sense. I like to start normally at showing value, but you may end up starting at deliver value. You may have to go straight into it. When we think about the terms of, are you instructing or teaching? Are you facilitating the change? Are you coaching or are you supporting? This all depends on this. Now, I start off with showing value. I'll find a way. I'll get an output. I go, right, the output here is to limit the work in progress of the team. And I will show them by not limiting the work in progress how that impacts. I may show them other teams. I may do a brown bag session on the impacts of having too much work on it at any one time. I may hit them from a different point of view, about stress levels, cortisol levels, health levels, especially if that's part of their interests. Find the way that shows them the value. Then ask permission. Don't say, here's the value, now do this. You want to ask permission. Hey, I heard you guys liked the work in progress session the other day. Have you thought about something like that for your teams? Oh, you have. Did you want to give it a go and see how it would work? And maybe try it 2 weeks? If they say yes, deliver the value. And this could be teaching, facilitating, coaching, or supporting. Whatever your team needs. And this is why I love this model, because it makes it very simple to understand. If the delivering value is just facilitating, you would say something like, hey guys, Joe was saying that we want to have a work in progress limit for these reasons. Does it sound pretty good? Cool. Hey, how about I set up a session where we talk about the work in progress limits we can have and which number that should be. You don't push it onto them, you just facilitate. At the end of the sessions that you've delivered value, whether it's teaching, facilitating, coaching, supporting, whatever makes sense, you set goals. For work in progress limit example, we would set a goal of 2 or 3 and look to measure that in 2-3 weeks time by employee NPS, Net Promoter Score, by productivity, by time to market. How are you going to measure it? Set the goals, have the measurements. Stand back and hold them accountable. You are now the mirror of accountability. You're not the authority with a stick. And if you're a Scrum Master watching this or an Agile coach watching this, you are not there to tell them what to do. You are there to help them achieve their goals. You are coaching. If you are going to be consulting, that's not coaching the change. That could be using Kotter's 8 change management steps. Here is coaching the change. This is basically you put your coaching hat on and you're fluctuating between teach, facilitate, coach, and support. But you are a coach at heart. You are helping them with their goals. Then you show some more value. And what I love about this, especially if you use a current state analysis and a future state analysis, and then you start mapping your roadmaps out. If one output gets stuck, you put it back in the backlog, you try another one. If that one gets locked in, you put it away, excellent, next one. And you can always have the next trick up your sleeve. That is really it with mapping your own bespoke transformation. You want to understand, why do you exist? Who do you serve? Where do you play? What problem you solve? How do you win? In what way and when? You want to create your 3 horizons that make sense to your business agility current state. You want to map your stakeholders. You want to create your Kaizen board. You want to make sure that people come to your Kaizen weekly stand-ups, if you have them. You want to focus on iterating and trialing different outputs that make sense. Measure them, keep them or trash them. Once you've achieved your outcome, you don't trial any more outputs, you're done. The outcome is complete. Tick. Next outcome. And when you've achieved those, you should have objective proof that your Horizon 1 has increased customer value. And if it's increased customer value, you now have proof that Horizon 2 is worthwhile doing. Let me know how you go. Send me your 3 Horizon models. I love seeing them. I get pictures sent to me of whiteboards, of Trello boards, all sorts of transformational roadmaps. I had someone with a whiteboard actually draw a roadmap and it stayed there for about 4 months. While I'm trying to get people on board, trying to get more champions. Send them to me. I love them. I really hope you've enjoyed this course. I hope there was a few nuggets in there that will help you on your transformational journey. And you've probably come at this from 2 ways. You're either a leader who wants to help transform their organization. And for that, I hope you've got your tools and your processes and anything that we've given you, you've been able to take in and start using. A lot of leaders who come on this course have already started using things before they get to this lesson, which I always find, I love it. It's great. Or you are somebody who's in the team, who is a champion and you've been recommended to watch these videos. Welcome. Welcome to Surge's movement. Welcome to your movement. I am looking forward to hearing about the transformations in your teams, in your tribes, and in your organizations. This was a foundations course, but it can feel a bit heavy. This is why we recorded them all. During our live sessions, they would go on for hours. So what we've decided to do was make these all recorded for you, so you can go back and watch them whenever you want to. You have a lifetime access to these courses now. And in a minute, you're going to go to your test and you're going to pass your 100 question test. And then you're going to come into the alumni and we're all going to chat about your experiences and how you've changed yourself, what aha moments you've had. and how you're going to transform your organization 2 champions at a time. Much love. Thank you for staying to the end of this course. It's been a wild ride, and I look forward to hearing your results.